Hi, it's Leela, the proud poly kinky queer slut. Today's question is, how are making these videos risky for you? Um, so I've received some wonderful comments from folks who are talking about how proud they are and happy they are that I'm doing these videos because so many people don't actually speak up. And I've also recently had the opportunity to attend a legal seminar on some of the risks associated with being very public about sex positive messaging. Um, I'm taking serious risk by doing these videos, and it's a calculated risk. I know the risk I'm taking, but I am taking a risk. And you don't hear a lot of voices like mine because of the risks. So, biggest risk I'm taking is that I could lose my job. I could lose my career. Um, there are potentials for me to not be able to support my family. And that's a big risk for a lot of people. And frankly, why a lot of people stay in the closet about things like being poly. Um, there is also social risk. So there's risk of stalkers. There's risk of people tracking me down and pointing hate speech at me in real life instead of just on videos. There is risk of people making this a problem for my family and disrupting our life. So like there was a supporting trans youth event at my daughter's elementary school a few years back, and it was canceled because of hate, because of people threatening to show up and protest with potential guns on premises. So that is a thing that could potentially happen, and that's a risk I need to be aware of as I'm doing this, and that I am aware of. There is also just the risk of putting myself out there publicly, and my spouse and I, we've experienced certain people that we thought were in our corner just hating on us for really no reason that we can think of other than their own prejudice and bias. It has shaped our community in some ways because we've tried to keep a lot more people in our life than were necessarily good fits with that. I am particularly concerned about impacting my ability to support my kids. But ultimately, I have a lot of privilege that a lot of other folks don't have. I have worked really hard my entire life and built myself a professional career that has provided me with enough economic stability that I feel like I can take a reasoned risk in this space with my career. And I'm hoping the worst doesn't happen. I love my job. I want to keep doing my job. But if it does, that's something I've talked to my spouse about, and my family's not going to end up homeless because of that. My family's not going to end up not able to eat because of that. That is not a luxury that everybody has. Also, I am in a situation where my spouse supports me completely, where my community is supportive. So while there are certainly some family members who would be appalled by what I'm doing because they have different beliefs, the majority of the people around us who support us in our community are folks who are going to understand what I'm doing here. So me speaking out is not risking my children being taken away or a divorce going badly where I lose custody and potentially alimony or whatever else happens in that like when ethics get applied to the law in weird ways. So I have a lot more safety than a lot of other people do. And frankly, I feel this is a calling. I feel this is a risk I have to take and a true calling of something that I need to do to be more visible. For all the people who can't, for all the people who have to stay in their closet, for all the people who do not dare even comment on a video like this because it might out them to somebody, because for them that outing is not safe. This is a real issue right now with incidences of violence against queer people going through the roof. Poly is certainly not well understood. Being kinky, queer, and slutty as a combo is, a target in a lot of communities. So I speak out for those who can't because I feel like I need to. I feel like I'm called to. And because I am fortunate enough to have the privilege to be able to weather the risks. I hope. But yeah, it's scary. And all I can say is let's do some things to try to make that better. Let's do some things to like stand up and be collectively together and voice what needs to be voiced so that the more vulnerable people among us can be lifted up with us. I think that's all we can do. So, thank you so much for listening. This is Leela, the proud poly kinky queer slut. Remember, you can ask me anything, and have a great day.